If you don't take action, nothing will change. That's the truth. It doesn't matter how much you think about success, how much you plan, or how much you hope for a better life. If you don't move, if you don't take real steps forward, you'll be stuck in the same place. A lot of people wait for the perfect time to start. They say, I'll do it when I feel ready, or I'll start when things calm down. But the perfect time never comes. Life will always be busy. Challenges will always be there. If you wait, you'll be waiting forever. The people who succeed aren't the ones who wait for the right moment. They're the ones who get up and start, even when it's hard, even when they don't feel like it. Taking action isn't about feeling motivated every day. It's about making a decision to move forward no matter what. It's about doing what needs to be done, even on the days when you're tired, even when you don't see immediate results. Because success isn't one big step, it's a series of small steps, repeated day after day. In this video, we're going to talk about why forcing yourself to take action every day is the key to success. Why small, consistent efforts will take you further than waiting for the right time. By the end, you'll understand that your future is built by what you do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Number one, the hardest part is starting. Once you begin, you gain power. You know, the hardest part of anything in life is just getting started. That moment right before you take action. Your mind is flooded with doubts, with hesitations, with excuses. You feel like you need more time, more preparation, more certainty. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, or maybe next week when things feel right. But here's the truth. The perfect time will never come. The people who succeed in life are not the ones waiting for motivation to strike. They're the ones who take action, despite the doubts, despite the fear, despite the discomfort. Because once you begin, you gain power. Think about it. How many times in your life have you delayed something important because it felt overwhelming? Maybe it was a fitness goal, a business idea, a career change, or even just waking up early to be more productive. You kept thinking about it, planning for it, telling yourself you'd start soon. But every day that passed, it felt harder and harder to begin. That's because inaction creates a habit just as much as action does. The longer you wait, the more you train yourself to hesitate, to delay, to stay where you are. But the moment you take action, everything changes. You don't need to see the entire path ahead. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to move. Even the smallest action can break the cycle of hesitation. Because once you start, you create momentum. And once you create momentum, stopping becomes harder than continuing. That's how progress is made. Not in one giant leap, but in the simple decision to start. Look at the most successful people in any field. They weren't born ready. They didn't wake up one day with all the answers. No, they started just like you, uncertain, nervous, even doubting themselves. But they took action anyway. They understood that motion creates motivation, not the other way around. If you wait to feel like it, you'll wait forever. But if you take the first step, no matter how small, your mind starts to shift, your confidence grows, your belief in yourself strengthens. Let's talk about fear. Fear is what keeps most people from starting. Fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of not being good enough. But here's something you need to understand. Fear doesn't go away on its own. The only way to get rid of fear is to face it head on. The more you avoid action, the stronger your fear becomes. But the more you act despite the fear, the weaker it gets. Every time you push yourself to start, you are training your mind to be stronger than your excuses. And here's something most people don't realize. Your brain is always looking for proof. Proof that you can succeed. Proof that you're capable. But if you never start, you never give yourself that proof. You stay stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. But the moment you take action, even a small one, your brain recognizes it. It says, look, I did it. And that proof builds confidence. That confidence builds momentum. And before you know it, you've gone further than you ever thought possible. Let me ask you this. What's stopping you right now? Is it fear? Is it uncertainty? Is it laziness? Whatever it is, recognize that it's nothing more than an illusion. The hardest part is starting. But once you take that first step, it gets easier. The resistance you feel is temporary, but the regret of not starting lasts forever. You don't want to look back a year from now and realize you're still stuck in the same place. You don't want to waste time waiting for motivation when you could be building discipline instead. The best way to start is to stop overthinking. Stop making it bigger than it is. Just focus on one simple action you can take today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. If you want to get in shape, do one workout today. If you want to start a business, research one step today. If you want to improve your life, make one positive decision today. Action, no matter how small, is always better than inaction. And here's the best part. Once you start, you'll feel a sense of relief. The weight of hesitation disappears. You realize that it was never as difficult as your mind made it seem. You feel a spark, a shift inside you. That's the power of action. That's the power of deciding that you are in control of your life, not your doubts, not your fears, not your excuses. The hardest part is starting, but once you begin, you gain power, power over your mind, power over your circumstances, power over your future. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is that first step. Take it today. Number 2, if you can take one step, you can take another. There's something powerful about movement. The moment you take that first step, no matter how small, you set something in motion that is hard to stop. You might not see the results right away, but something changes the moment you move forward, because if you can take one step, you can take another and another. And before you know it, you're further than you ever thought possible. Most people don't struggle with the middle of the journey. They struggle with the beginning. That first step feels like climbing a mountain. It feels overwhelming, intimidating, even impossible. But the truth is, the first step is always the hardest. Once you take it, once you push through that initial resistance, you realize something. You are capable of more than you thought. The mistake most people make is they look too far ahead. They see the big goal, the big transformation, and they get discouraged before they even begin. They think about how long it will take, how much effort it will require, and they talk themselves out of it. They convince themselves it's too hard, too much, too overwhelming. But here's what they don't realize. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to climb the whole mountain today. You just have to take one step. And once you do, something changes inside you. You prove to yourself that you can move forward. You build confidence. Even if just a little, you gain momentum. Even if it's small, and that momentum makes it easier to take another step. Think about a time when you accomplished something in your life, something that seemed impossible at first. Maybe it was getting in shape, learning a new skill, or making a change in your life. In the beginning, it felt difficult, maybe even unbearable, but you pushed through, you took that first step. Then you took another, and before you knew it, you weren't thinking about how hard it was anymore. You were just doing it. That's how progress is made. Not in one giant leap, but in the simple decision to keep going. It's like walking up a staircase. If you stand at the bottom and stare all the way to the top, it feels overwhelming. You think about how many steps you have to take, how long it's going to take, and you feel discouraged. But if you focus on just the next step, suddenly it feels manageable. You take that step, then another, and before you know it, you're halfway there. Then you're at the top, wondering why you ever doubted yourself in the first place. That's how success works. That's how transformation happens. You don't have to have all the answers today. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Because if you can take one step, you can take another. If you can wake up early today, you can wake up early tomorrow. If you can make one small healthy choice today, you can do it again tomorrow. If you can push yourself a little today, you can push yourself a little more tomorrow. And over time, those small steps add up. They compound. They build on each other. And before you know it, you've changed. You've become the person you always wanted to be. Not because of one big action, but because of the small ones you took every single day. This is where most people fail. They don't struggle because they're not capable. They struggle because they never take that first step. Or if they do, they stop too soon. They expect results overnight. They want instant success, instant transformation. And when it doesn't happen fast enough, they give up. They tell themselves it's not working.
that they're wasting their time. But what they don't realize is that success is always just a few more steps ahead. There are people right now who are successful, not because they were smarter, not because they had more resources, but because they kept going when everyone else stopped. They took one more step, then another, and now they're living the life they once only dreamed about. And you can do the same. So don't focus on how far you have to go. Focus on today. Focus on this moment. Focus on what you can do right now. Because if you can take one step, you can take another. And if you keep doing that, day after day, nothing will be able to stop you.
Number 3, the people who succeed aren't more talented. They just refuse to quit. Success doesn't belong to the smartest person in the room. It doesn't belong to the most talented, the most gifted, or the one who had the perfect start in life. It belongs to the one who refuses to quit, the one who keeps pushing, keeps grinding, keeps moving forward no matter what. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. They want to believe that success is about talent, about being naturally gifted, about having something special that others don't. But that's just an excuse. It's a way for people to justify their lack of progress. They tell themselves, well, I wasn't born with that kind of talent, or I just don't have what it takes. But if you look at the people who actually succeed, the ones who make it to the top, you'll see a different story. Look closely at the most successful people in any field, and you'll see that they aren't necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who kept going when everyone else gave up. They failed, they struggled, they made mistakes, but they didn't let those things stop them. They got back up, they kept learning, they kept improving, and over time they became unstoppable. That's what separates the winners from everyone else. Not talent, not luck, just relentless effort. Think about how many people start something with excitement, with big dreams, with high energy. They're fired up, ready to change their lives. But what happens when it gets hard? What happens when they don't see results right away? They stop, they give up, and that's where the real difference is made. The ones who keep going, even when it's hard, even when it's discouraging, even when they don't feel like it, those are the ones who succeed. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they stop trying. They let frustration take over. They let doubt creep in. They let obstacles break them instead of making them stronger. They see failure as a reason to quit instead of a reason to adjust, to learn, to grow. But the ones who make it, they see failure differently. They don't see it as the end. They see it as part of the process. They understand that every mistake, every setback, every rejection is just another step forward. If they don't quit, you have to ask yourself, what's stopping you? Is it really a lack of talent? Or is it just that you haven't pushed yourself hard enough, long enough? Have you really given it everything? Have you really put in the time, the effort, the discipline that success requires? Or have you been stopping every time things got tough? Be honest with yourself, because the truth is, talent alone never built anything great. Hard work did, consistency did, discipline did. It's easy to look at someone successful and assume they had some kind of advantage. But what you don't see is what happened behind the scenes. You don't see the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the struggles, the failures they endured along the way. You only see the result. And that's why it's so easy to believe that success is about talent. But if you talk to those people, if you hear their real stories, you'll find that their success had nothing to do with being naturally gifted. It had everything to do with refusing to quit. The best athletes, the best business people, the best artists, they all have one thing in common. They didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They didn't let obstacles break them. They kept pushing forward, day after day, even when they didn't feel like it, even when there was no proof that things were working, even when people doubted them, even when they doubted themselves. That's the difference. And that's the difference you have to create in your own life. If you want success, if you want to achieve something great, you have to make a decision right now. Are you going to be the person who gives up when it gets tough? Or are you going to be the person who refuses to quit? Because if you keep going, if you refuse to stop, if you push past every obstacle, every setback, every moment of doubt, you will get there. It won't happen overnight. It won't be easy, but it will happen. So stop worrying about whether you're talented enough. Stop looking at other people
and thinking they have something you don't. Stop making excuses. Start taking action. Start putting in the work. Start showing up every single day, no matter what, because the people who win in life aren't the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to quit, and that can be you.
Number 4, small daily wins are more powerful than one big effort. Most people believe that success comes from one big breakthrough, one huge moment that changes everything. They think that if they just work really hard for a short time, put in an extreme effort once, they'll suddenly reach their goal. But that's not how it works. The truth is, success isn't about making one big move. It's about what you do every single day. Small wins, consistent actions, little improvements over time. Those are what really make the difference. Think about the last time you tried to achieve something big. Maybe you got really motivated one day, decided to change everything at once, and put in a huge effort for a few days. But then what happened? Maybe you got tired. Maybe life got in the way. Maybe you lost motivation because the results didn't come fast enough. That's what happens to most people. They go all in for a short time, but when they don't see instant results, they stop, and that's why they fail. It's not because they aren't capable. It's because they didn't understand the power of small daily wins. When you focus on winning the day, every single day, something incredible happens. You start building momentum. You start creating habits that stick, and over time, those small wins add up to something massive. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about getting just a little better every day. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work when no one is watching, when there's no applause, when the results aren't obvious yet. Because if you keep doing that, day after day, the results will come. The problem is, most people don't believe that small efforts matter. They think that if they can't make a massive change right away, it's not worth it. So they stay stuck. They keep waiting for the perfect time to take action. They keep searching for motivation instead of just getting started. But the reality is, the people who succeed aren't the ones who wait for the perfect moment. They're the ones who take small steps every day, no matter what. It's easy to underestimate small actions because they don't seem like they're making a difference. If you go to the gym one time, you won't see results. If you save a little money today, you won't become wealthy overnight. If you work on your skills for just 10 minutes a day, you won't be an expert tomorrow. But over time, those small actions compound. And that's the secret most people miss. It's not about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do consistently. Success isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. It's about showing up, putting in the effort, and stacking small wins on top of each other. Because when you do that, you start building confidence. You start seeing progress. And progress is what keeps you going. When you know you're moving forward, even in small ways, it changes the way you see yourself. You stop doubting. You stop hesitating. You start believing that success is possible because you're proving it to yourself every single day. That's why people who focus on small wins always outperform those who try to do everything at once. The ones who try to make a massive change all at once burn out. They get overwhelmed. But the ones who focus on just getting a little better each day, they keep going. And because they keep going, they get further. So instead of trying to change everything overnight, focus on winning today. Just today. What's one thing you can do today that moves you forward? Maybe it's making one healthier choice. Maybe it's spending 30 minutes improving a skill. Maybe it's saving a little money. Maybe it's showing up and doing the work, even if you don't feel like it. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something. And here's the key. When you win today, do it again tomorrow and the next day. Keep stacking those wins. Keep showing up. Keep proving to yourself that you're capable. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. You'll see the progress. You'll see the results. And you'll realize that success didn't come from one big moment. It came from all those small daily wins that added up over time. This is the secret most people ignore. They want the shortcut. They want the overnight success. But real success doesn't work like that. It's built one day at a time. So stop waiting. Stop searching for the perfect strategy. Start focusing on small, consistent actions. Start winning the day, every single day. Because if you do that, there's nothing that can stop you. Number 5, your mind will try to stop you. Don't listen to it.
There's a battle happening inside you every single day. It's not between you and the world. It's not between you and your circumstances. It's between you and your own mind. Your mind will try to stop you. It will tell you you're too tired. It will say you're not ready. It will give you every excuse to stay where you are. And if you listen, you'll never move forward. The human mind is designed to keep you safe. It wants comfort, security, and familiarity. It wants you to stay exactly where you are, because that's what feels safe. The moment you try to push beyond your limits, your mind will resist. It will create doubts, fears, and hesitations. It will remind you of every failure, every mistake, every reason why you should quit before you even start. And if you don't recognize what's happening, you'll believe those thoughts. You'll think they're real, but they're not. They're just the mind's way of keeping you in the same place. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It's the ability to act, even when the mind is telling them not to. The people who achieve great things feel the same fear, the same hesitation, the same doubt, but they don't listen to it. They move forward anyway. They understand that their mind is not always on their side. It will trick them into believing they're not capable. It will create imaginary barriers that don't exist, but they refuse to accept those limitations. Think about the times you've wanted to do something, but didn't. Maybe you wanted to start a new habit, work on a new goal, or take a risk that could change your life. But instead of taking action, you found yourself making excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I don't feel motivated today. I'm too busy. But deep down, you knew the truth. You knew you were just avoiding the discomfort of growth. And that's exactly how the mind works. It convinces you that waiting is the right choice, when in reality, waiting is the problem. Success is never about feeling ready. It's about taking action despite the resistance. If you wait until your mind gives you permission, you'll be waiting forever, because that permission will never come. Your mind will always find a reason to delay, a reason to hesitate, a reason to play it safe. If you want to break free, you have to take control. You have to decide that your goals are more important than your comfort. Every time you push past that voice, telling you to stop, you gain power over your mind. You start building mental toughness. You start proving to yourself that you are in control. Not your fears, not your doubts, not your excuses. And once you experience that power, you realize that you've been holding yourself back this entire time. Most people go through life, letting their thoughts dictate their actions. If they don't feel motivated, they don't work. If they don't feel confident, they don't try. If they feel scared, they run the other way. And that's why they never reach their potential. They are controlled by their emotions instead of their decisions. But the ones who succeed, they make decisions based on their goals, not their feelings. They understand that feelings are temporary, but the results of their actions last forever. You will never wake up every day feeling ready. You will never always feel like doing what needs to be done, but you don't have to. You just have to act anyway. The moment you stop waiting for motivation, everything changes. The moment you stop believing the excuses your mind creates, you break free. You realize that action creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't feel motivated first, and then take action. You take action first, and motivation follows. Think about this. Every time you've ever accomplished something, it didn't happen because you sat around waiting for the perfect moment. It happened because you decided to move forward. You might not have felt ready, but you did it anyway. That's how progress works. Action leads to momentum. Momentum leads to results. And results build confidence. Your mind will always test you. It will always try to convince you that you're too weak, too tired, too busy. But you have to fight back. You have to remind yourself why you started. You have to take control and prove that you are stronger than your thoughts. Every time you push forward despite resistance, you are training your mind to work for you instead of against you. You are reprogramming yourself for success. And here's the secret. The more you do this, the easier it gets. The first time you push past your excuses, it's hard. The second time, it's still uncomfortable. But the more you make it a habit, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you stop hesitating. You stop questioning. You just act. And that's when everything changes. If you want to succeed, you can't let your mind be the thing that stops you. It will try. It will throw every excuse at you. But you don't have to listen. You don't have to believe every thought that enters your head. You have the power to take action, no matter what. And when you realize that, nothing can stop you.
Number 6, success comes to those who keep showing up. Most people never see success, not because they aren't capable, not because they don't have what it takes, but because they don't stay long enough to see the results. They start with excitement, full of energy, ready to take on the world. But when things get tough, when progress feels slow, when results don't come as quickly as they hoped, they fade away. They convince themselves it wasn't meant to be, that maybe they weren't good enough, that the timing wasn't right. And just like that, they walk away from something that could have changed their life. Success doesn't come to those who try once and quit. It comes to those who keep showing up, day after day, no matter what. It comes to the ones who refuse to let failure stop them. It comes to the ones who push forward, even when it feels pointless. Because the truth is, success is never about one big moment. It's not about that single breakthrough, that one lucky break, or that overnight transformation. It's about consistency. It's about discipline. It's about being there, doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. Think about it. How many times have you started something and stopped before you could see real progress? How many dreams have you abandoned because it got too hard or took too long? How many times have you let frustration convince you to walk away? And what would have happened if you had just kept going? If you had just shown up, even when you didn't feel like it, even when it wasn't easy? That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ones who succeed didn't stop when it got hard. They didn't stop when the results weren't immediate. They didn't stop when they felt discouraged. They kept showing up. There will be days when you don't feel motivated, days when you question if it's worth it, days when your progress feels invisible. And that's exactly when most people give up. But those who keep going, those who keep showing up, despite the doubts, despite the setbacks, despite the obstacles, they are the ones who make it. Because every time you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you're training yourself to be relentless. You're proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. And that kind of discipline, that kind of commitment, is what leads to success. It's easy to show up when things are exciting, when progress is obvious, when motivation is high. But real success comes when you show up, even when none of those things are there, when no one is clapping for you, when no one is noticing your effort, when it feels like you're moving in slow motion. That's when your true character is tested. Because if you can keep showing up when it's hard, when it's frustrating, when it's lonely, you are unstoppable. Nothing can break you. Nothing can make you quit. Because you've already decided that no matter what, you will keep going. Most people underestimate the power of consistency. They think success is about big, dramatic actions. But in reality, success is about the small things you do every single day. The small efforts that seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they add up. That's why showing up matters more than anything else. Because every time you show up, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your success. And the more bricks you lay, the stronger that foundation becomes. You might not see the results today. You might not see them next week. But if you keep showing up, if you keep doing the work, eventually something happens. Things start to shift. Momentum starts to build. And suddenly the effort that once felt pointless starts paying off in ways you never imagined. And that's when you realize success was never about luck. It was never about talent. It was never about having the perfect plan. It was always about showing up again and again until one day everything changes. So if you're thinking about quitting, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're wondering whether it's even worth it, this is your reminder. Keep showing up. Keep going. Because success doesn't go to the smartest. It doesn't go to the most talented. It goes to the ones who refuse to quit. It goes to the ones who understand that showing up is the most powerful thing you can do. It goes to the ones who decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, they will keep moving forward. And if you can do that,
There is nothing in this world that can stop you. Number 7, every excuse delays your success. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They don't fail because they don't have what it takes. They fail because of excuses. Excuses are the invisible chains that hold people back from the life they could have had. Every time you make an excuse, you're not just delaying action, you're delaying your own success. And the more you make excuses, the longer you stay stuck in the same place, watching others move forward while you stand still. The truth is, excuses are easy. They feel good in the moment. They take away the pressure of responsibility. They let you believe that your situation is out of your control. You tell yourself you're too tired, too busy, not ready yet. You convince yourself you'll start tomorrow, next week, next month. And before you know it, a year has passed, and you're still exactly where you were. Not because you couldn't succeed, but because you let excuses steal your time, your energy, and your future. Think about all the times you've wanted to do something. Start a business, get in shape, learn a new skill. But then the excuses came. I don't have enough time. I'm not good enough. What if I fail? And so you did nothing. And what changed? Nothing. Because excuses don't move you forward. They only keep you stuck. And the longer you stay stuck, the harder it becomes to break free. Success isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's not about waiting until you feel ready, because that moment will never come. There will always be something in the way. There will always be a reason to wait. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't is simple. Successful people take action despite the excuses. They don't let fear stop them. They don't let doubts control them. They move forward, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's hard. You have to understand that every excuse you make is costing you something. It's costing you time. It's costing you opportunities. It's costing you the life you could have had. And the sad part, most people don't even realize how much they've lost until it's too late. They wake up one day, years later, and wonder why their life didn't turn out the way they wanted. They wonder why they're still struggling, still unhappy, still stuck. And the answer is simple. They chose excuses over action. But here's the good news. You don't have to be one of those people. You don't have to let excuses control your life. You can make a different choice. You can choose action. You can choose to stop waiting, stop delaying, and start doing. It doesn't matter if you feel ready. It doesn't matter if the timing isn't perfect. What matters is that you take that first step, no matter how small. And here's something you need to understand. Action destroys excuses. The moment you start moving, the moment you take that first step, the excuses lose their power. You stop thinking about why you can't, and you start proving to yourself that you can. You realize that all those reasons you had for not starting, they were just illusions. They weren't real. The only thing standing between you and success was your own hesitation. You have to ask yourself, how much longer are you going to wait? How many more days, weeks, months are you going to let slip away because of excuses? Because here's the reality. Time will pass anyway. The next year will come, whether you take action or not. And when it does, will you be further ahead? Or will you still be making the same excuses, living the same life, stuck in the same place? The choice is yours. You can either let excuses run your life, or you can take control. You can either sit on the sidelines, watching others succeed, or you can step up and start creating your own success. And the only way to do that is to stop making excuses and start taking action. So today, make a decision. No more waiting, no more delaying, no more excuses. Because every excuse you make is just another day you're giving away, another opportunity you're throwing away, another step away from the life you want. And you deserve better than that. So get up, take action, and refuse to let another excuse stand in your way. Number 8, results don't come from wishing. They come from doing. A lot of people want success. They think about it. They dream about it. They talk about it. They sit around wishing for the day when their life will change, hoping that somehow, someday, things will be different. But here's the truth. Results don't come from wishing. They come from doing. Wishing is easy. Wishing feels good. It gives you a temporary escape from reality. But wishing doesn't change anything. Wishing doesn't move you forward. only action does. There are people out there who spend years waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for a sign, waiting for motivation to strike. But life doesn't work that way. The people who succeed aren't the ones who sit around hoping for things to get better. They're the ones who get up and make things better. They're the ones who take action, even when they don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when they're not sure if they'll succeed. You have to understand that life rewards action, not intention. You don't get in shape by thinking about working out. You don't build a business by talking about your ideas. You don't learn a skill by watching others do it. You get results by showing up, putting in the work, and staying consistent. There is no secret. There is no magic formula. It all comes down to whether or not you're willing to do what it takes. Most people never get what they want because they never start. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, next week, next month. But the truth is, there is no perfect time. There is only now, and if you don't start now, chances are you never will. Because the habit of waiting, the habit of delaying, the habit of making excuses, it only gets stronger over time. And before you know it, years have passed, and you're still stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. Results require action, and not just once, not just when you feel like it, not just when it's convenient. You have to show up every single day and do the work, even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like nothing is happening. That's the part most people don't want to hear. They want the rewards without the struggle. They want the success without the sacrifice. But it doesn't work that way. If you look at anyone who has achieved something great, you'll see the same pattern. They didn't just think about it. They didn't just hope for it. They worked for it. They put in the time. They failed. They learned. They kept going. They did the things that others weren't willing to do. And that's why they got the results that others never will. Think about what you want in life. Think about the goals you've set for yourself. Now ask yourself, are you actually doing the work to make it happen? Or are you just wishing for it? Be honest, because if you're not taking action, you're not really serious about it. It's just a fantasy. And fantasies don't turn into reality. Only effort does. You might say, but I don't know where to start. Start anywhere. Start small. Just start. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have it all figured out. What matters is that you take that first step. Because once you start moving, things start happening. You learn. You adjust. You get better. But nothing happens until you take action. There's something powerful about momentum. When you start taking action, even in the smallest way, you start building confidence. You start seeing progress. And progress fuels motivation. It's not the other way around. People think they need motivation to start. But the truth is, motivation comes from starting. The moment you take action, the moment you see even the tiniest result, you'll want to keep going. But if you sit around waiting for motivation, you'll be waiting forever. Because motivation isn't reliable. It comes and goes. You can't depend on it. What you can depend on is discipline. What you can depend on is the habit of taking action. No matter how you feel. This is what separates successful people from everyone else. They don't wait until they feel like it. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. They do what needs to be done, whether they're excited about it or not. And that's why they get results. You have to decide what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be someone who just talks about success? Someone who just dreams about it? Or do you want to be the person who actually makes it happen? Because at the end of the day, your results will be determined by your actions, not your intentions. So stop wishing, stop waiting, stop looking for shortcuts. Get up and start doing. Because every day you spend thinking, instead of acting, is another day you've wasted. And you don't get those days back. Success isn't about luck. It's not about talent. It's about showing up, doing the work, and refusing to quit. If you do that, the results will come. But if you don't, you'll be stuck in the same cycle, year after year, wondering why nothing is changing. The choice is yours. You can either keep wishing, or you can start doing. But only one of those will get you where you want to go. Number 9, discipline is the shortcut you're looking for. Everybody wants a shortcut. Everyone is looking for that one trick, that one secret, that one magic formula that will take them to success faster, easier, and with less effort. But here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Discipline is the shortcut. It always has been, and it always will be. There is no faster way, no easier path, no secret formula. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not motivation. It's discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. The ability to stay consistent, to push through discomfort, to take action. Day after day, no matter how you feel, that is the real shortcut to success. Most people waste years searching for an easier way. They buy into quick fix solutions. They chase after the latest trends. They jump from one strategy to another, hoping that something will make success effortless. But the truth is, no matter how many books you read, no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how much you dream about success, if you don't have the discipline to put in the work, you will never get the results you want. Success doesn't come to the smartest person. It doesn't come to the most talented person. It comes to the person who is willing to show up every single day and do what needs to be done, no matter how they feel. The reason so many people struggle is that they let their emotions control them. They only work when they feel motivated. They only put in effort when they're in the mood. And because motivation comes and goes, their progress is inconsistent. They start and stop. They make excuses. They take breaks when things get hard. And then they wonder why they're not getting anywhere. The people who win in life are the ones who don't wait for motivation. They create habits. They create routines. They build the discipline to keep going, even on the days when they don't feel like it. That's why they succeed, while others stay stuck. Discipline is the great equalizer. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to have all the answers. But if you have discipline, if you have the ability to keep taking action, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching, you will outlast and outperform everyone who doesn't. Because most people quit. Most people give up when things get uncomfortable. Most people don't have the patience to do the work long enough to see results. But if you do, if you build that discipline, you will separate yourself from the pack. The truth is, success isn't complicated. It's simple. Not easy, but simple. You find out what needs to be done, and you do it every single day. Whether you feel like it or not, whether you're tired or not, whether you're tired or not, whether it's exciting or not, that's how you win. But most people don't want to hear that. They want to believe that there's an easier way, that there's a secret shortcut. But the real shortcut is simply doing the work over and over again. You have to get out of the mindset of looking for motivation, because motivation is unreliable. It's a feeling, and feelings change. If you rely on motivation to get things done, you will always struggle, because there will be days when you don't feel like working. There will be days when you're tired. There will be days when you doubt yourself. And if you let those feelings dictate your actions, you will never stay consistent long enough to succeed. Discipline is what carries you through those days. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. And that's why discipline is the real shortcut, because it keeps you on track when everyone else is making excuses. Look at anyone who has achieved something great. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, musicians, every single one of them got there through discipline. They didn't wake up every day feeling motivated. They didn't always feel inspired, but they showed up anyway. They did the work anyway. And that's why they got results, while everyone else stayed stuck. If you want success, you have to build discipline. There's no way around it. And the good news is, discipline is a skill. It's something you can develop. You don't have to be born with it. You don't have to be naturally disciplined. You just have to start training yourself to take action, no matter how you feel. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you stick to your commitments, the stronger your discipline becomes. It starts with small things. Waking up when you say you will, sticking to your workout routine, finishing what you start, keeping the promises you make to yourself. Because every time you follow through, you build trust in yourself. You prove to yourself that you can be disciplined. And over time, that discipline becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, success becomes inevitable. The reason so many people fail is that they give up too soon. They expect results immediately. They expect things to be easy. And when they don't see progress right away, they quit. But the people who win are the ones who keep going. even when it feels like nothing is happening. They trust the process. They stay consistent, and eventually the results come. You have to stop thinking of discipline as something negative. It's not a punishment, it's a tool. It's the thing that gives you freedom. Because when you have discipline, you have control. Control over your actions, control over your habits, control over your future. Most people don't have that control. They let their emotions dictate their lives. They let distractions pull them away from their goals. They let excuses stop them from taking action. But when you build discipline, you take back that control. You become the kind of person who can achieve anything because you are no longer held back by excuses. So if you're looking for a shortcut, this is it. Discipline is the shortcut. There is no way around the work. There is no secret formula. The people who succeed are simply the ones who are willing to do what others won't. And the moment you commit to that level of discipline, the moment you stop waiting for motivation and start relying on action, you will separate yourself from the rest. You don't need luck. You don't need talent. You don't need the perfect circumstances. All you need is the discipline to show up every day and do what needs to be done. And if you do that long enough, success is inevitable.
Number 10, your future is built one day at a time. Make today count. Every great future starts with a single day. Not a month, not a year, just today. The problem is, most people waste today because they think their future is built in the future. They say, I'll start tomorrow, or next week, I'll really get serious. And before they know it, a year has passed and nothing has changed. But here's the truth that separates successful people from everyone else. Your future is not some distant dream waiting for you. It's built right now, in this moment, by what you choose to do today. Most people don't see the value in a single day. They think, one day won't make a difference, but one day turns into two. Two turns into a week into a month. And suddenly, you're looking back at an entire year wondering where the time went. It wasn't wasted all at once. It was wasted one day at a time. That's how people wake up 5 years later, stuck in the same place, living the same problems, making the same excuses. But the opposite is also true. Every person who built something great did it one day at a time. One decision, one action, one moment that compounded over time. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for a perfect time to start. They say, I'll start when I feel ready, or I'll start when life calms down. But life never slows down. There is never a perfect time, and that's why most people stay stuck, because they spend years waiting instead of using the time they have. The truth is, your future self is watching what you do today. If you waste today, you're stealing from your future. If you let distractions pull you away, if you make excuses, if you say, I'll do it later, you're pushing your dreams further away. It all comes down to this. If you don't take control of today, you will never take control of your future. Because success is not one big moment. It's not a lottery ticket. It's not one lucky break. It's small, consistent actions repeated over and over again. That's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Not talent, not luck, but the ability to wake up every day and make it count, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching. Most people love to dream about their future, but they don't realize that dreaming without action is just a distraction. Wishing for success, hoping for success, visualizing success, none of that matters if you're not willing to do the work today. That's the brutal truth, and that's why so many people never reach their potential, because they think about their future more than they work for it. But the people who win, they don't just think about their future, they create it. They wake up every day and take steps toward it. Even if those steps are small, even if no one notices, they know that every single day is either pushing them forward or pulling them back. The secret to success is not about having more time. It's about using the time you have better than everyone else. Everybody gets 24 hours. The difference is in how you use them. Some people wake up and waste the first few hours scrolling, hitting snooze, procrastinating. Others wake up and attack the day. They don't wait to feel motivated. They don't wait for things to be easy. They just get to work. And because of that, they get further ahead. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck, how they treat today. There's an old saying,
How you do anything is how you do everything. If you slack off today, you're training yourself to slack off tomorrow. If you make excuses today, you're setting yourself up to make excuses for the rest of your life. But if you show up today, if you push yourself today, if you hold yourself accountable today, then you are building a mindset that guarantees success in the future. Because success isn't about talent. It's about habits. It's about discipline. And that starts right now, in the small choices you make today. Most people underestimate the power of one good day. They think, what's the point? One day won't change my life. But they don't realize that every great achievement started with one day. One workout turns into a strong body. One good decision with money turns into financial security. One disciplined day turns into a disciplined life. Every habit you build starts with a single day of effort. And the more you stack those days, the more unstoppable you become. If you want to change your future, stop thinking about the future and start focusing on today. Because today is the only thing you actually have control over. You don't control yesterday. It's gone. You don't control tomorrow. It's not here yet. But today, you have full control over how you use it. And if you choose to waste it, that's your decision. But don't expect tomorrow to magically be different. Your future is nothing more than a collection of todays. If you waste today, you're wasting your future. It's time to stop saying someday and start making today count. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start making progress with what you have. Because the people who succeed in life aren't the ones who had everything handed to them. They're the ones who decided that every single day mattered. They're the ones who took action, no matter what. They're the ones who refused to let distractions steal their time, who refused to let excuses hold them back. So ask yourself, what will you do with today? Will you let it slip by like every other wasted day? Or will you take control and use it to build the future you want? Because whether you realize it or not, every choice you make today is shaping your future. And the people who understand that, the people who make today count, they're the ones who wake up years from now with the life they always wanted, while everyone else is still wondering where the time went. Success doesn't go to the smartest or the luckiest. It goes to the ones who show up, take action, and refuse to quit. Now the choice is yours. You can walk away from this video and go back to the same routine, making the same excuses, waiting for the perfect time that never comes. Or you can decide right now that you're done waiting. That from this moment on you take control. Because every day you delay is a day you can never get back. Your future isn't built on luck. It's built on what you do today, tomorrow, and every day after that. If you push yourself to take action daily, no matter how small, you will see progress. And that progress will turn into momentum. That momentum will turn into results. And those results will change your life. Don't let another day slip away. Start now. Even if it's hard. Even if it's uncomfortable. Even if you don't feel ready. Because success doesn't wait for anyone. It belongs to those who are willing to take action. Every single day.